everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show tonight, I got a very awesome guest, someone I'm really looking forward to chatting with. And he is a wrestler, a professional wrestler at TNA Wrestling. And I'm talking about the one and only Steve Maclin. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you can already tell. I am the host of the Grue Rume Show, and I'm really looking forward to talking to Steve about his wrestling life and being part of one of the greatest wrestling places to work for in the entire world, and that's TNA Wrestling. I My interview with Steve be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Rume, and as always, folks, welcome to my nightmares. So stay tuned and let's get rolling. All right, buddy. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time and coming on the show. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on here.
You got it, man. Definitely. So the first thing I want to start asking you before we talk about wrestling for TNA is how did you know this is the sport that you wanted to get involved with, and who were some of the guys that you liked to watch growing up?
Well, as a fan, I grew up as just loving wrestling, and that's something I thought maybe would be able to be done at some point in life. But then you see these larger than life characters like Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, Undertaker, like just these gigantic men. You're like, there's no way. And then the business kind of changed. And when I was getting into the Marine Corps, I had a few buddies on the Independence, and they said, "Hey, come train one night. We'll just see how you feel getting in the ring." And I got in the ring and I fell in love. It just instantly clicked. It felt good, and I was like, "This is something I kind of want to get good at." And that's kind of the rest is history. Almost 13 years later, so here we are chatting about me and how I got into pro wrestling.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And when you first signed with them, first signed with TNA, how did you know like this is the place that you wanted to be at? And
Mm.
how long did it take for you to get used to everything, like the way they run things there and the brand new fan base?
So luckily, with my time in WWE beforehand, I was there for about seven and a half years. I got to learn how to work TV. I was pretty consistent on that, and then live events, and then just being able to work television became pretty easy as a transition when I was signed with TNA, when I started there 3 years ago. And it kind of gave me a little bit of an advantage because I was used to working television and working for times and being strict on it. And a lot of the guys in TNA were not fully working TV at that time, and there were a lot of independents. So it's like a benefit to me, but it's also a benefit now because now I can help them, and we can all work together and make the company even better that way for television. But when I did get there for the new fan base, it was kind of hard trying to at first with no fans at all because it was still COVID time.
Yeah.
So I was debuting a new character. I was trying to show people who I was compared to what I was doing in WWE. So here's a brand new character. This is me, world. I'm showing you everything that I am. I'm trying to just throw things at the wall and see what sticks kind of right now. And it all kind of worked out. Here we are 3.5 years later, and we just debuted me as the moniker of Bulletproof Steve Maclin, and it's pretty cool to be finally bulletproof.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you just came off a really great match, like a brutal match that you had at Turning Point with Josh. And how was that match like for you, and like working like that kind of style match? Like it was like I said, it was a great brutal match.
Thank you. No, it was brutal. It's just you got to go into those kind of with an open mind of things that are going to happen to my body, and they're probably going to hurt later on. But going in there with somebody that I respect but also hate at the same time, it was good to go out there and kind of kick the crap out of each other and push each other to the limit. And I think I did that by overcoming the standard of Josh Alexander and the walking weapon, and setting what the new standard is, and that's bulletproof Steve Maclin.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
And your recent vignette, I think I said that right. It was like really good, and it was really raw, and it's about your life, of course, as a vet. And how did that all come about, like making the video for that, and how long they wanted the video to go?
So the idea of it kind of came about a couple of years ago with Robert Evans and my behind the scenes. He was one of the writers at the time in TNA, and just coming up with different character ideas and how I can get different layers. And I had the idea from watching the movie Apocalypse Now in the opening scene in the hotel room. I was like, I wonder if there's a way I can kind of take that and make it my own. And then we had an idea for it. We're like, oh, we'll get to it down the road when it like works or it fits where we are in the story. And then luckily for the story EY and I are telling, especially with the feud with Josh, it just kind of fit at this moment. And Eric Tompkins, Kevin Martin, Lamp, it all kind of came together. And then Robert Peake shooting it kind of just brought it to life even more because inside his lens, it's a different world. And I fully recommend, if you don't follow Robert Peake on social media, go look at his work with photography and videography, because he just does amazing work. And it was just cool to just get my idea out there finally and just kind of show the world, like, all right, this is who I am, whether you like it or not, and this is what we're going with in a way. And I'm like, this is me. And if you want to find how Steve Maclin is, just watch that vignette. And for it to be 6.5 minutes even alone, that was cool too, just because it was shown entirely for the 6.5 minutes on television, and that's probably the most TV time I'll ever have now in wrestling. While speaking and getting to do a character piece in a way, so you get to understand who Steve Maclin is. And it was really cool.
Nice, nice. And you've won gold there. And how did it feel like the first time that you ever won gold there?
It was really cool winning the world title at Rebellion 2 years back, well, a year and a half back, I should say. It was just because we were in Toronto. My wife was also the main event after me, so we had a double main event for the world titles for the females and male side of things, and beating Kushida, who another opponent that I fully respect and love working with him, and hopefully we can work again somewhere down the road. But it was just a really cool night, and then just to watch my wife win her title as well and retain, it was bittersweet to just sit there and give her a kiss and go afterwards in gorilla position. It was a good night.
Nice.
We got to get back to that though. We got to get back to gold.
I know exactly. Yeah.
I stopped my feud with Josh. Now it's on Atlanta for the 13th and 14th of December. We got the toy drive coming up, and I'm looking forward to it with that and the food drive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And, and like one of the feuds that I really loved, like it was a really bloody feud, was PCO. Like for his age, the guy can still go, and he's definitely like a horror based person. And how do you mentally prepare yourself to actually step in the ring with someone like him, like with that whole horror vibe going?
it's fun to always work with a character, just because now it lets me kind of create from my personality and how can I work who I am with him, and it's just a good clash and mesh of styles. And to just culminate what we did at Under Siege was a lot of fun, and even the build up to it with the cinder blocks, and with me and Bully Ray lighting him on fire and pouring
Yeah.
battery acid down his throat. Just a lot of fun, different things that I never thought. I'm like, wow, here we are lighting a man on fire. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
I love working with PCO.
definitely. Yeah. That was really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
and and over here at TNA, it seems like you have like more freedom to actually like do what what you want to do more, like compared to other places. And what do you love most about working for them and being there?
Uh, just the locker room. Everywhere I've been, the locker room is great, but just the TNA locker room itself is just different. Everybody's there with a chip on their shoulder and trying to make this place the best, and it shows. Look at the arenas we're going to now in the new year. We got Genesis coming up. We have San Antonio for live TV. They just announced LA and New York. I know tickets are going on sale soon for LA. I'm not too sure on the date completely, but I know they're going this month. They'll be on a pre-sale. But it just shows the hard work and the dedication and the belief that this place is better than what it is perceived as, because it is the land of misfit toys in a ways. But I think the world's kind of waking up to what TNA Wrestling is ever since we did the rebrand, and ever since my 3 years of being there. From the time I got to TNA and walked through those doors, it's just been a building process. So it's just been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like everywhere you're going, like you're doing great. Like you're selling out these places, and I live in Philly, and I was at the show you just recently did in Philly. So like yeah, like I mean, you're doing something right.
Who knows? We'll probably be back at the ECW arena sometime, hopefully in the new year. That'd be great. I love being
Uh,
that way in Philly, especially Philly. Philly fans are great. I always tell Tom Hannafin, I was like, if I wasn't in, I'm a diehard Giants fan, but if I was to play in the NFL, I'd play for the Eagles just because of the heart in that city and the love that they have for their team.
oh yeah, for sure, definitely. And like what in inspired you? Like there was a point in time where you painted up your face, and what inspired the paint?
So I kind of take mainly a lot of my character from the Frank Castle and the Punisher series, and then also
Oh
kind
yeah.
of taking a little bit of Captain America and Wolverine and meshing it into my personality and what works. So I love the phrase of memento mori, where it's like it's a image of a skull and it just says, "Remembrance of you will die." It just shows that you're not invincible. At some point, you're going to die. So I was like, all right, well, I can make this my own thing as a character where when I do wear it, it's going to mean something more. And especially what Josh and I did at Turning Point, it's a blow off match on a feud. So I wanted to make it mean the most. So once you see me with that face paint, it's probably not a good time to be around me. So
Definitely.
that's kind of the gist of it. It's just like when I have that face paint on, it's always on. But when that face paint goes on, just I probably don't be around.
There you go. Yes. And as of lately, we've been seeing like the NXT stars coming there, and the TNA stars going there. And is there anyone over there that you would love to face in a TNA ring?
Uh In NXT, not offhand, but I know for main roster, it'd be like a Drew McIntyre or an AJ Styles, just because they are former TNA guys, and even an LA Knight, Eli Drake, LA Knight. That's another one as well. That would be, I think, something fun to do down the road because it was former TNA stars wrestling one of the top TNA stars now.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And you know, wrestling is like known for the gimmick matches, and anywhere from cage matches to casket matches. Is there any like gimmick match like you would love to be part of that you haven't did yet?
I would say for TNA, it'd be the Lethal Lockdown. That's one I would love to see come back in the new year. Hopefully, maybe LA or in New York. Who knows? Maybe one of those will pop up there for a match there, and which I think would be pretty cool to be involved with and be a part of because I got some little wild and crazy ideas that I can probably do.
Nice, nice. And I'm a big horror fan, so I always ask my guests this when I have them on. Are there any horror films that you like to watch?
Nightmare on Elm Street, all the Halloweens, Friday the 13th. Uh, yeah, those are the movies I grew up loving. Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2. Those are two of my favorite zombie movies. And then even just the original Dawn of the Dead when they're at the mall. I just always thought that was a good one growing up.
Oh my God, those are all classics. Like you got really good taste in horror.
Thank you, thank you.
Definitely. And what would be like your go-to karaoke song if you were ever gonna sing something?
Maybe Creedence Clearwater Revival. If my wife was there, I'd be singing "Fortunate Son" just because she loves that song. Or Wheeler Walker Jr.'s "Drop 'Em Out." That'd be another good one. If you don't know him, Google it song after this, and it's a very entertaining song.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
And I know you're big into the superhero world. I see like the Captain
Mhm.
America and everything. So would who would be your favorite superhero and villain?
Superhero. I'd say Wolverine's my number one, even though Cat and Punisher are up there too. But I just Wolverine just has so many different layers from all the movies with Jackman and then just the cartoon and just yeah, just so many different layers, especially from the comics. And then for villain, Doctor Doom is up there. He's always the main villain, I think, especially in Secret Wars. I have that whole comic book series here, and that's one of my favorite ones, especially with just the different variants of Doom. And I'm looking forward to how Robert Downey Jr. does as Doctor Doom. So I'm curious how they
Oh,
twist it. So I'm very much looking
yes.
forward to that. But out of other villains, it would be Bullseye. I loved it on the new show that they did for Daredevil. I thought they did Bullseye awesome.
Definitely. Definitely. Oh wow, nice. Yeah, yeah. Like Robert Downey. When I saw that trailer and I saw his face come up when I was like, oh my god, how are they going to do this?
We'll see.
Yeah. And what about songs? Like, what kind of music is on your list that you like listening to your playlist?
I listen to pretty much everything, but I'm obviously a '90s kid. So growing up with anything Pantera, Alice in Chains, Nirvana. I love grunge. I love just Pearl Jam, Metallica. Limp Bizkit's my number one band. I just saw them live not too long ago, and it was
Nice.
a blast. It felt I was like, wow, my 37-year-old self is 13 again right now. It was really cool. Um, yeah, just Linkin Park coming back out on tour now with a new singer. It's kind of different, but it's I'm intrigued to see how it goes, and I would like to see them live. And yeah, just I listen to everything country as well. Tyler Childress, Zach Bryan is he's always playing in our house too, and then Chris Stapleton, Aaron Lewis. Just yeah, I can keep going on with different names, but I listen to pretty much everything. Depends on the
That's
mood. If I'm working out, it's Slipknot, Metallica, the hard stuff.
yeah,
Sometimes I'll throw on an '80s hit list, and then I'll just vibe to it. If it's leg day, just try to keep energetic and stay positive.
definitely.
But yeah, but if I'm hanging out, I'm home. It's usually Alice in Chains.
Okay, sweet, sweet. And wrestling is definitely hard on the body taking all those bumps and all the matches. So what do you do to stay in wrestling shape?
Just keep working, keep training. Being a little bit smarter now that I'm getting older and listening to my body, taking days off. Like today, I kind of just took as a recovery day. Even though I went hard again the past 2 days since I got back from the road. And then today I just kind of did some cardio, stretch, sat in the sauna for a little bit, and then now I'm painting the hallway in our entryway in the house. So I'm kind of just keeping myself busy and doing stuff active because if I'm just sitting around, I get very bored quickly. I like to keep active, and then even like days that I am bored or if I'm not working out, I just take the dogs for walks and we just kind of go adventure.
Nice. And what about food? Like, what do you think is like your big go to food?
If I could have it my way, it'd be a cheeseburger and a milkshake every day. And it's either from Five Guys or not Five Guys. I'm sorry, Burger Fi or Culver's down here in Florida.
All right,
Yeah,
sweet.
those two have jumped. Those two are on my top list just because it's. I always rate the burger and the shake together because they have good burgers, but they also have good shakes. So that's why it's like my go-to. And then if
Nice.
I'm on the West Coast, it'd be an In-N-Out burger. Or if I'm in Texas, which we're going to be there coming up in the new year for Dallas and San Antonio, it's going to be a Whataburger.
Okay, okay. And is there anything coming up for you that you want to plug? Like any upcoming appearances, shows?
Yeah, TNA is coming December 13th and 14th in Atlanta. We have Final Resolution, and then you have TV the next day. We have the Toy and Food Drive, which I'm going to be the brand ambassador for Toys for Tots in Atlanta for the 13th and 14th. So I'm very much looking forward to that and really honored to be in that position. And then we have Genesis in January and then San Antonio for TV live and tapings as well. And then they just announced New York and LA in the new year for Slammiversary and Rebellion. So I'm very much looking forward to those because those venues are a lot more seated arenas, and I'm very much looking forward to that in the new year. And TNA, ever since the rebrand, has just been on a rise. And like I said earlier, the locker room is just has such a chip on its shoulder to make this so much better than it is. And I think people are starting to understand how good TNA is, and it's fun to just be able to be here, chat with you, and promote for the company I love working for.
Yeah, definitely, man. And where could fans follow you at?
Follow me at Steve Maclin on Instagram and Twitter. I have my pro wrestling tee stores, and also you can buy all the Steve Maclin merchandise at TNA Shop.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for taking time out and coming on. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on. It was good chatting with you.
Definitely, bud. Definitely. Have a great day.
You as well.
Thanks.